Hey, Ellis, how you doing, man? Thank you for the time as always, brother.
Yeah, of course.
Man, so yesterday, Coach Franklin was walking us through some of the protocols and the testing process. What is it like for you guys when you have to wait that long for a test? You have a teammate who has a false positive. What is that? What's that like mentally for you guys?
Mentally, I feel like obviously it can be a stressful situation from time to time, but with football, you gotta have that next man up mentality. Um, Everybody, whether you're a starter or backup, you gotta prepare like you playing in the game because of these times and things going on in 2020. So whenever you have those instances, you just gotta really prepare for the worst, but hope for the best.
Joe Giuliano.
Good morning, Ellis. Appreciate the time today.
Yes, sir.
The team has been getting off to some slow starts. That's kind of been a story of the season. What can the defense do and you yourself do to make sure that you guys get off to faster starts, at least for Saturday's game against Iowa?
Personally, I feel like it needs to be trained in practice. Starting fast is the skill that we've been emphasizing in practice. In practice, it's not something you can just go out in games and do. I don't think it's anything to do like with our warm-ups, anything like that. It's just about being intent from the first snap to the last snap. As soon as we come in last and just having that energy behind us so that we can translate that to Saturdays.
Tyler Donahue.
Good morning, Ellis. Thank you for your time this morning.
Mhm.
When we were told last week that this team hadn't had a full team meeting in person until just last week. So you've been around four different variations of a Penn State football team. Does that make it more difficult to develop trust when you're doing everything virtually and you're not doing as much off the field? Has that been a challenge for this team just to kind of get to know each other, get to trust each other? And is that reflected at all in what we see on Saturdays, do you think?
Yeah, I wouldn't say trust, but in terms of just like getting to know each other and different things like that, I would agree with. Personally, I'm an older guy. I'm in the linebacker room mostly. So meeting young guys like on offense is usually where that team meeting time is for, where we're all together that we missed out on this year. But yeah, for sure. I mean, 2020 has been a crazy year, and I feel like it's kind of isolated everybody in a sense, but I'm glad we getting back to our normal run of things and getting back to our normal process for.
Evan Patrick.
Hey, Alice, thanks for your time, man. So this Saturday, we get to see Will Levis have an extended run at quarterback. From a defender's perspective, what does he kind of add to the offense when he's in there, and what is, I guess, different about defending him maybe compared to Sean?
Well, with both of them, I would say that both of them are very, I was about to say crafty, but elusive players, can use their legs. Obviously, Will is used a lot in the quarterback run game, which can bring a different aspect to your fits and scheme. A strong arm player, high energy, high character guy. So both of them are great players. Will came in and gave us that spark, but really excited to see what he can do against Iowa. He's been having a great week of preparation, and I think he's going to go out there and perform well.
Partha Paje.
Hey, what's going on, Ellis? Appreciate the time this morning.
Yeah, of course.
You kind of touched on this about kind of not maybe knowing some of the offensive guys as well, just because the lack of team meetings and stuff. So maybe you can't answer this, but I guess I'll ask anyway. A guy like Devin Ford, Coach Franklin said that, once Journey went down and once Noah went down, that Devin kind of had a long way to go to being that lead dog, being the top running back for y'all, the feature back. What have you seen in Devin that kind of allows you to believe that he's ready to take that step forward?
His preparation and lash every day, even before the incidents with Journey, but he's been taking the steps necessary and been a focus on details, wanting to get better, taking coaching, at least from what I've seen, like, linebackers go against running backs a lot. He's very coachable player and just wants to get better. And I feel like that's the most important thing when somebody stepping into a large role, they just know that they don't know everything. And every single day, they're just trying to get 1% better. And I feel like that's what he's trying to do right now.
New Bias Wellborn.
Well, through 4 games, what's been the thing you guys have been the most, or you say, what have you been the most pleased with, and what have you been the most disappointed with through 4 games?
Through the 4 games, I've been most pleased with how I feel like we do not quit. We play to the last whistle. That's how we're coached. That's how we're trained. That's how we're built. I'm disappointed with how we're starting. We need to start faster.
Joe Giuliano.
Ellis, I'd like to know, like, where do you feel the confidence is on your defense right now, and how are you keeping the confidence of the younger guys going? I guess it's easy, I guess, when you're younger to think, oh, gee, here we go again. But how do you keep them solid, and how do you keep your own guys confident?
Confidence comes from preparation. I mean, obviously, as well as success, but it comes from preparation in terms of your approach to practice throughout the week. So, at least for me, like leading by example, coming in, taking notes early to meetings, early to practice, getting extra work in so that you can go out there and play confident on Saturdays.
Tyler Donahue.
Mentioned that things have there's been a shift towards getting back to normal on the daily and weekly approach. Jaywan Sider told us last week that he felt like the training wheels came off a little bit for you guys last week with how you're approaching things. Can you give us a little more detail on that? How things maybe are different, how you're approaching things now with maybe COVID and just with gathering as a team versus where they were through, say, the last few months?
I mean, recently, like you said, we've been able to be together as a team more. And obviously that's super important for a football team. Also just emphasizing the details. I mean, constantly our coaches have been doing that, and I feel like we have been doing that, but we need to do more, and we will do more, and we're just continuing to find that 1% and find areas that we can improve in, to be honest.
Parthy Paje.
Ellis, we touched on kind of journey going down and what that meant for the running back room and whatnot just a couple of minutes ago. But, from everybody that I've spoken to, all your teammates, they've kind of talked about from the get-go kind of Journey still having a major impact on the team, even from the sideline. Can you give me an example of how he kind of still is lifting the team morale, even though he's down right now?
I'll give you an example. Yesterday at practice, running backs and linebackers doing one-on-ones, matching them in routes. And Journey, just high energy guy, coaching the running backs, talking trash to us. You know what I'm saying? Just making practice fun and bringing that aspect. That's just the type of person he is. He can brighten the entire room around him. So just his presence and his attitude through all this adversity that he's been facing has just been an example to set of how we need to approach practice, you know what I'm saying, for the adversity that we're facing and still have that attitude and approach that Journey's coming in every single day with.
New Bias Wilborn.
Going back to the question I asked you, if I can get unmuted. Oh, I am unmuted. Question I asked you. Man, internet, man, 2020. Going back to what I asked you first about knowing that with the COVID in particular, that it really could truly be next man up. A lot of times, guys don't really know if they're going to play. But in this situation, you could. Does that maybe make you have to be even more prepared than you would in a normal season?
I mean, honestly, I feel like that should be the standard. I mean, football is a violent game. Injuries are the worst part of the game, but we do know that they happen in the blink of an eye. And I don't want to compare it to the COVID, but COVID can happen in the blink of an eye. Like, you really don't know. So no matter what it is, I feel like it's really teaching people good habits of whether you're second on the depth chart, third on the depth chart, you got to prepare every single game like you're going to play every single snap because you never know.
Appreciate it.
Tyler Donahue.
Curtis Jacobs is a guy who got to campus only a few months ago, but we've seen him involved in games pretty fast as a freshman. What do you think he's done to earn that opportunity in this linebacker room? And it seems like based on what we've seen from the depth chart in the last couple months, he's been cross-training. If a guy's getting work here, getting work there on the practice field, then seeing what he plays in games, what does that do for his development in that room?
I feel like the reason why Curtis earned it was he came in a very coachable player. Obviously, a highly touted recruit, but he came in, same thing I was talking about Devin, just he wants to learn and he wants to get better. He wants to continue getting better. So it's easy bringing along guys like that, obviously, when they have God-given talent like Curtis does, ability to make plays, very instinctual player. So we're very excited to see how he continues to grow and, you know what I'm saying, where he's going to be in the future.
Joe Giuliano.
Ellis, you mentioned the lack of quit in your team, and you guys had a pretty good second half last week against Nebraska, gave your offense a chance to get back into the game. How can you take the momentum of that performance and apply it to Saturday against Iowa?
That mentality that we played that second half with, that enough is enough mentality. And it's not something you can just come out on Saturdays with. It's something that's going to be trained, that we've been training Sunday, you know what I'm saying, every single day of the week. So just come out that, and it needs to translate on this field this week.
Tyler Donahue.
Oh, so I'm just following up one more thing with Curtis. We heard from Terry Smith last signing day that one thing that stood out about Jacobs was kind of an aura about him, the way he carries himself, that reminded Terry a little bit of some recent Penn State stars, just how they have different expectations and you can kind of sense it when you're with them. Is that easy to tell with Curtis? Is it hard to tell with any freshman because they're trying to play catch up? Curious if that's been something you've detected since he got to campus.
Yeah, definitely with Curtis and with the type guys we bring into our program, I would say all the freshmen really try to have that approach, want to play more. Everybody wants to make more plays. So, but definitely the way he's carrying himself, Curtis is mature for his age, which definitely helps out. And he's just starting to pick up on stuff faster and he's starting to get it. And like you say, he's holding himself to a higher standard, which I feel like will bring positive results. So.
Okay, we have time for two more for Ellis, so we'll start with Gianna, and then if anyone else, we'll end with Joe. So go ahead, Gianna.
Hi, Alice. As a college student myself, we both know that social media plays such a large role, whether it's in our lives right now or just more for you as a student athlete. Has it been enforced for you guys right now to sort of be on social media and stay engaged, or is it more a tougher place at the moment to sort of pay as much attention to it and, center on like comments that could be made or, negativity that is put out there right now by maybe fans or, sort of in a way just struggling to keep positive elements of what social media could bring?
So personally, in seasons, I don't even really use social media like that. A lot of my time is dedicated to either film study or practice or whatever. But in terms of the positive, negative aspects of social media, I mean, people are going to be people. And your effort and your drive and your focus can't be determined on other people's thoughts. And it can't be determined on other people's expectations of you. I mean, you're obviously holding yourself to high expectations. People in this building hold themselves to high expectations, and we want and need to perform well. So that negative aspect of social media is really just, I mean, I'm not going to say it's natural because we have passionate people. There's passionate people that want to see us perform well, but it's really just about staying focused, focus in the present moment, controlling what you can control. And I feel like if we continue to have that mentality, have that approach, not worried about outside noise, that we can turn this thing around.
Thank you.
Okay, go ahead, Joe, for the last question.
Yeah, I also wanted to ask you about the Iowa running backs, Goodson and Sargent. What kind of they rely on those guys a lot. What kind of problems do they present for a defense?
Both of them are shifty guys, run hard, downhill players, Big Ten backs. So it's definitely going to be a challenge, but it's going to be a fun one. It's going to be a physical football game. Iowa's going to come in and try to run the football. They try to do it every year. So it's going to be a battle, and we're looking forward to it. Two great, like you said, two good running backs coming in. watching a lot of film on him. It should be exciting.
All right. Thanks for your time, Ellis. Thanks, everyone.